The scientific name of the Shetland sheep is Ovis aries. There are different types of sheep. There are actually over 200 different types of sheep. What makes sheep different is primarily what they're bred for. Sheep are domesticated, so it basically depends what the different breeds people want them for. They're used for dairy, they're used for meat, they're used for their hair, their wool. They're also used for their hides. So it's basically what they've been bred to be used for. Shetland sheep geographically are located in the Shetland Isles, which are a small chain of islands off the coast of Scotland. So primarily now their habitat is going to be farmland, sort of pasture. They're very common in very rough areas where there's a lot of rocks and stuff, so they're a little bit more hardy. They don't need like a rolling pasture land. Shetland sheep and sheep in general are primarily herbivorous, so they only eat grasses. They also, when they eat, do something called cropping, which is where they take basically the blade of the grass a little bit above the ground, so they're pretty hard on any pasture land they go through, where they crop it so low that the grass can't generally come back. All sheep are basically related back to two animals, one of them being the mouflon. It's a wild sheep found in Europe and Asia. Males are called rams. They can be anywhere from 90 to 125 pounds. Females tend to be, which are called ewes, can be a little bit smaller. They're anywhere from 75 to 100 pounds. We have 3 Shetland sheep here at our zoo. We have Bane, who is our ram. We have Joker, who is a wether. A wether is a male sheep who has been neutered. And then we have Robin, who is our female. Robin, Joker, and Bane came to us from the Staten Island Zoo, and Robin this past summer had triplets. So her and Bane have been working on expanding their family, so we're pretty sure we're going to be getting triplets again, because they tend, if they have had triplets or twins in the past, they tend to have triplets or twins in the future. Sheep do generally live in groups. They have a behavior called flocking, which is where they're pretty good about following the leader. They want to be in a group. This generally applies to groups of 4 or more. We have at the zoo a group of 3, so they don't really flock. They sort of scatter. They don't flock as much, but it also means if they're out in a field and they're eating, they want to be next to each other, and they tend to group up, which is something that farmers can use when they're farming them, where you can sort of set them out to pasture. They're all going to stay in a clump. You're generally not going to have one wander off. Shetland sheep specifically are used primarily for their wool. They're actually one of the few sheep that they have a very prized wool. It's supposed to be very, very soft. A conservation thing with the Shetland sheep was that at one time, people it's very similar, I guess, with dogs, that they sort of breed for a certain characteristic. And with the Shetland sheep, they really liked their fur, their wool, but they're a much smaller sheep. So a smaller sheep means less wool. So they started interbreeding them, trying to get that nice wool, but on a bigger sheep. In the 80s, they were being so bred out that there was actually worry that they would no longer be a specific breed, because there were so few of them that were just specifically Shetland. And there was a group, I believe, from the Shetland Isles that sort of bred up a herd and sort of brought them back. Just by breeding them for characteristics we wanted, we sort of kind of bred them out of existence, but kind of brought them back once we realized what was happening.